Hello and welcome to my channel. Everybody who comes to my channel knows what I've been working on, except for last week where I did the subscriber video. But everybody should know that I'm working on my Delta slow speed drill press tapper conversion. I think I mentioned last week that I need to make a couple of rings to hold my gear rack for my table in place. I want to make this thing just a little bit wider. This is just under 3.5. I want to make it 3 3/4. And I want to make it on the rotary table. I know it's more stuff to go through, but this is a hobby and I like doing machining. So instead of just throwing it on a lathe, finding a piece 3 3/4, drilling a hole and boring it out, I thought we'd make a real project out of it. Well, to be able to put it on the rotary table, I need some kind of clamp to clamp this down. I think first I'm going to put like a subplate. I don't want to waste aluminum or steel. I was just going to use a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, which is flat enough for what this is. And clamp it down. Clamp a whole piece of aluminum down. I'm just I'm just using pieces of cut up aluminum, nothing special, things that were in a bucket. And I found out in the garage. I'm just going to clamp it down. But first I need to hog out the center and put a 45 degree. I was going to do that with this end mill. I have a 90 degree, 45 degree end mill. I was going to put this angle on there. And that is 45. I checked it. I need a clamp to clamp this down. And I was going to use a hogging mill, a roughing mill, to do that. So I need to make a clamp no bigger than the OD of the part. I don't want my end mill hitting it or having to go around it. So, like I said, I was going to make a piece that's 3 3/4. This is 3.5. So I found this piece of 3/4 inch thick 1018, and it's a bit long. It's 5 inches long. 2 7/8, that's good enough. A little over 7/8. What I need to do first is get in the mill, throw it down in the vise, and just clean the top of this up, just so I can grab it. One side is already flat. It's stock flat, but that's good enough. And then put it on some parallels and clean up one edge, just so I can scribe a line where my length is 3 3/4. And then, instead of putting it in a saw, which most everybody would do, I was going to use this 3/4 inch roughing cutter and just tear through it. I was going to try to go full depth and just cut that off. I don't think I was going to use oil. I might put some oil on it, on the cutter, but mostly I'm going to be using soluble water-based coolant. It's a lubricant. But so I guess the first thing we need to do is go over to the mill, touch off. I have a 3/4 inch high-speed steel cutter in there, and I was just going to clean up this one edge, one side. not edge. Let's get over to the mill and do that. First thing I like to do is just make sure there are no big burrs or anything on the surfaces that I'm not going to touch and that are going to be clamped. Didn't feel like anything. I have the head on this mill as low as I can because when I rough through there, that's a 3/4 inch end mill. I'm going to just be barreling through that roughing cutter. I want this as rigid as possible. And that doesn't allow me to put this on a parallel. But it doesn't matter. I don't need it. And like I said, I'll be using soluble water soluble coolant, which I always use this squirt bottle. So let's get over there and just touch off and go for it. That looks pretty good. Clean this up, deburr it. I don't know if you noticed, my cutter's going clockwise. I had that cutter going into the part so that it gets rid of most of that burr. If I was to start on the other side, it knocks the material down and creates a burr. Quick deburr. Just for the heck of it, let's see what size this is. Wow, 1/900 right on the button. That's good. Be 950 thousandths to the center. Nice square number. That was pure luck. Okay. Clean out, make sure there's no burrs. Throw some parallels in there. We're just going to clean up one side because I just need it for my square to put a line where I'm going to cut this thing off. I'm going to tap this down. All right. All right. Looks decent. Let's deburr that, go back to the table. Not too bad for what I'm using that clean edge for. Like I said, I'm only doing one side just because I need something to lay my square on. It's set for 3 3/4. Let's see. Plus, I'm just going to use a marker. That's good. Now I got to change my cutter out. And I was just going to drop this cutter and just go through it. I was going to try to do it in one cut. 3/4 might be it's taking a lot of material out, but probably have to go from the back of the vise, come this way, because, well, that's climb milling. Go from the front of the vise, go back. While I'm here, I should probably, now I was thinking I should probably lay it out for where my hole, I need a 1/2 hole through here. That's what size stud I'm going to use to put through my clamp to hold it down into my rotary table. My rotary table has a plug inside it. It's what I use for the eye bolt to lift it. And I was going to use that in the center of the clamp to just hold the part in place. Needs to be in the center. I'm drilling a 1/2 hole. This here measures like 490. So I should be able to slide this through a nice tight hole to hold it on center. We will find out. Let's get back to the mill. This is all eyeball measurements. That's pretty close to that line. Let's try this. That is making way too much noise. Most likely going way too fast. I'm going to have to slow this down. This thing was running 900 RPMs, 950, and I brought it down to 400. Let's see how that works. It's a lot of vibrations. This mill I don't think was made to hog off with a 3/4 inch roughing cutter. It may be pulling the part out. That was weird. I don't know what happened. It was about to break through and it just grabbed that cutter. I see. It's pulling this in and acting like a brake. I'm gonna pull this off with a pair of pliers. The rotation clockwise was pulling this part in and causing it to act like a brake and grab that cutter. It wasn't real good for my belt. There. Now let's see what happens. Not leaving too bad of a finish. It's leaving the lines like a roughing cutter. But for the tip of a clamp, that might be good. I think I'm going to measure it and just go for finish. 832. This dimension don't have to be perfect either. Plus or minus 15 thousandths, 20, it would be fine. 832 thousandths. It's 50, 60, 70, 82 thousandths to take off of there. I'm going to use the roughing cutter and finish it there. That don't look too bad. Those lines aren't going to mean anything. Okay, let's take it out and deburr it. What I need to do, I want to sink this clamp into the part a bit. This is 3/4. I'll probably go down 3/8 of an inch to go into the ID. I don't want it sitting on top completely, is what I'm saying. I have like a little finger here. Where's my... I was going to cut that out, like just rough it out. There's nothing special there. And then I want to put a 1/2 inch hole in the middle somewhere. Doesn't have to be perfect. I want it in the middle, but how I'm going to get it in the middle? I am going to put my 1/2 inch drill into that collet. I'm going to put a 1/2 inch collet in there. I am going to touch the back of the vise, lift it, move half the cutter size. 0, my X or Y axis, move over 950 thousandths. I'll have to remeasure that. And do the same over here. Just touch off with my tool. Pick it up, move over half the cutter, and then go to my halfway point and just drill through. The reason I want a tight hole is because once it's all tightened down, I don't want this shifting around. Talking about shifting around, did you see what this end mill was doing to this thing? It was dragging it out. And when it got all the way to the other side and the material was thin enough to start flexing, the rotation of this cutter grabbed it and pulled it in, which pinched it and stopped that cutter. That's not too good for my belts, but I think I need to get new belts anyway, because it isn't the first time I did something like that. But I've never really did a 3/4 inch roughing cutter through 3/4 inch steel, full depth. I had to see what happens. Okay, it's deburred. I'm going to change out my, no, I'm not. What I'm going to do is make this little ledge. I'm going to mark, just using this ring, equal it out by eyeball, equal it out this way by eyeball, and just put a mark on there. I know how far I have to go back now. I'll put a straight line so I can eyeball that. Okay, that looks like 1 inch. I need to go back 1 inch with my roughing cutter and down 3/8 of an inch. Let's go over there and do that. I'm gonna have to pound that down, lock that vise real good, and then touch off. All right. That sounds a lot better, not being trapped. I'm just going to do this by eye. see what that looks like. That looks about 1 inch. Go over to the other side right away. Do the same thing. Let's see what that measures. About 50 thousandths shy of 1 inch. I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to clean this up and put my drill in there and drill that hole. Let me show you what I did. I know, can you see those scribe marks on the outside here? I scribed those on. That would be 3 3/4 inch diameter here. And I'm going to belt sand these corners off. I wanted to do that before I drilled this hole here. Because once I drill the hole, I have no place to put my compass. All right, I changed out my cutter to my 1/2 inch drill. I'm just gonna touch that back jaw with this drill. Okay, I'm gonna zero it. This again, just eyeball stuff. There's my cutter, or my drill, I should say. Go 1, 2, and 50. I'm gonna lock that, get rid of my backlash, which is about 7 thousandths or so. I'm gonna re-zero that. Now, I don't know if you can see this. I got 950 to the center. Let's go to the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 950. I'm gonna lower my cutter again and just touch that part. Okay, I'm going to zero my X. I'm going to have to lift my cutter. Damn, something a rookie would do. Or maybe I'm just getting old. That's good. Tighten her up. Okay, back in business. 1, 250. 30. Okay, I have written down here 1 inch 875. 1. 875. All right, I lock that thing down. I brought the speed back up to 1,000 RPMs, and I'm just going to drill that through. Looks like it. Let's get this out of here and go look at it. I'm going to belt sand that corner off. Probably wonder why I'm doing it without the table. The table just broke when I went to tighten it up. That's what I get for buying a piece of junk. I can't do that very well. I'm going to have to fix the table. Let's go and deburr this thing. I can't believe, well, I can believe, my sanding, the table that goes with that belt sander. I'll fix it somehow, but not right now. Well, let me show you how this thing's gonna work. It's gonna go like this. Remember, the part's gonna be long, bigger than this. This is 3.5. I'm going 3 3/4, which will be another 1/8 of an inch. It'll go like this. So before I start cutting my part, I'll clamp this in the center of the rotary table and just put that diameter on there. That won't be a biggie. I'll do it with the roughing cutter. That's what I plan on using to rough out the center and stuff. This works just fine. And I'll have that through it, holding it down. That should work. Now that was a project. Cutting this with that 3/4 inch roughing cutter. That was a bit much for that mill. I turned the volume way down on the mic, so you didn't have to listen to that thing vibrate and squeal. When I slowed down the RPMs, it was a lot better. But this is what I wanted to do today. And like I said, I'm just using a piece of scrap aluminum to make these. And the reason I wanted to make it bigger is, I may have said this, but I can't remember. This here angle that goes on here, that our gear rack goes into. If I just went 3.5, there's not much ledge here to clamp onto. But with another 1/8 of an inch, it's like 3/16 of an inch on each side. That's enough. That's enough to hold it down. What I was going to do is rough out and finish the ID on the rotary table. Then put this cutter in there with the 45, 90 included, and go around and put this angle on. Then I'll put this clamp in there, clamp it down, take the outside clamps off. Well, I don't even have to do that on the material. And rough that OD out. That'll work. Okay. I think that's what I wanted to accomplish today, get this clamp done. I know people would say, not very good craftsmanship. You got lines on here. You got lines on here just with scale. And it's like, could you imagine your boss telling you, go make a quick clamp to clamp your part down on the rotary table? And you show them, you go, what took so long? I made a beautiful clamp, boss. It'd be the last clamp you make in that shop. It's just fast and dirty. Just touch and go, touch and go. It's just for the hell of it. I don't know, did I deburr it? Yeah. To the center. That is 685. The other side is 600. No, 700. I'm about 700. I'm about 7.5 thousandths off center there. Let's see, 625, 615. I'm 5 thousandths off this that way. That's not bad for just touch and go. All right, I'm going to call this project a success, except for me breaking the damn table. And I'll finish this up before I do the actual part. And that will be in another video. So, this video is coming to an end. I'm going to call it a wrap. So until next time, enjoy.